Hi. We're live.
We're live.
We're live. We're hanging out. How's everyone doing? Is anyone on? Where's anybody? Anybody there? Hello. We'll get to it once I know that people are actually on. Saying we have zero viewers. There you go. What up, Bird Spoon? Good to see you. For some reason, I'm not getting. Oh, there we go. There's everybody. Okay, cool. Kate's hanging out with me today. And Kate's going to help out with some of the questions and stuff and shout outs and things like that. And it's raining. I did want to go do a walk around live, but it's raining, which, as you can see, I kind of got.
Yeah, we got a little wet.
We got a little wet. It's kind of a bummer. But this was a great week, really fun week this week, and I wanted to talk to everyone. So that's what we're doing. Let's see. Oh man, it's just cruising. We got hellos from Minnesota, underwater reptiles. Joe Black, what up? Hi, how you doing? It is cruising. It's good to see everybody, man. So today we're going to talk a little bit about whatever you want. I'm going to catch you up on the week. Kate's hanging out because she's fun.
Yeah, I'm fun, and I'm gonna help read.
Yeah, she's going to help read. The kids are hanging out. They're somewhere. They may pop in. I don't know. It's possible. We got some baby tortoises hatching, but why don't we talk about like the biggest thing?
What's that?
The biggest thing of the week.
What is that?
What was the biggest thing this week?
Actually, I don't remember. It's been a crazy week. Your birthday?
Yeah.
It was Kenneth's birthday yesterday.
It was my birthday.
So make sure everybody says happy birthday.
Nah, you don't have to. Well, all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it was my birthday, man. So I just turned 25, and I'm pretty happy.
25?
Yeah.
You wish.
No, I turned 44. 44 years old, feeling better than ever.
Looking better than ever. I'll tell you
what a gal, what a lady. Yes, that was kind of fun. Thanks. Oh, a lot of birthday
Lots of
man.
happy birthday.
Thank you so much, everyone. Let's see, man. We had a crazy day yesterday. In fact, it was so wild.
How wild was it?
Well, I'll tell you. It was fun because I got to eat a whole pizza pie. We had pizza for lunch.
Yeah.
Kate's gluten sensitive, so she can't eat.
I can't eat the pizza, but I had a delicious salad with chicken.
She did, and the kids ate pizza with me. I love pizza, guys. I eat it once a week. It's a very important part of this healthy lifestyle I lead. And I'll eat ice cream once a month, roundabout.
Oh, that dude said you look 67.
Nice. I look pretty good for 78, don't I?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Great.
Yeah, I do look 67.
Now, most people say they can't believe that you're 44.
That's very kind of you.
It's your young spirit. Really shows.
Yes, my youthful exuberance.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so it was a really good week. We had a lot of fun. I got a new pair of boots, which I'm excited about. And then I don't know if you brought it. You didn't bring you didn't bring the gift that you're.
No, it's at my
It's
house.
at your house. I'll have to show you in another video. In another video, I'll show you what I got. It would be perfect for a day like today too. Basically, her brother and sister-in-law bought me a umbrella hat, like a literal umbrella that you wear as a hat, because they know I like. Laundry's done.
There you go.
That's cool. Okay, we're multitasking. I still got to run the household.
Lots of things.
All right, so anyway, so check it out. So let's get to some questions.
You know, a lot of people want to see the tortoises because I think it's this baby tortoise.
Yes,
hatching.
it does. So let's do it. Let's get to the baby tortoises. Thank you so much, guys, for indulging. Kate, say something.
So, yeah, there's a lot. I couldn't believe all of the babies that were in this, actually, when you opened it up before.
Right.
Is it the same one that you're going to open?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Because that was
do
quite impressive. I've never seen so many hatched out of their eggs at one time.
Yeah, well,
normally I peek in and it's like one little tiny baby.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So that's, this is essentially what would have happened inside of a nest, It was kind of like a mass hatching of sulcata babies. This is pretty cool, though. So I'm going to go ahead and just come right up here.
Look at all them.
Isn't that awesome, guys? So these little sulcatas are hatching out right now. What I've been doing is I've been using the vermiculite. Excuse me, this is perlite. I've been using the perlite because I found that the perlite doesn't attract flies as much as vermiculite. And then what I do is I get these, whenever I buy eggs, because I eat eggs, chicken eggs, and I have these plastic chicken egg trays that they come in, little cartons. And I've been putting the eggs in there, and it's been keeping them away from the substrate, which I've been having a better results as far as less eggs getting a fungus on them. This egg here looks to be bad. You can see the cracks in it. So this egg, no bueno. But everyone else, I mean, they're looking good. Everyone else is hatching. I'm just going to flip their little faces up. So how cool is that? We got this little guy. He's starting to come out. So we got some really nice tortoises. In fact, actually, guys, oh my gosh, we got something interesting here. This is kind of a bummer, but it's alive. But this is, I just found this, everybody. This is crazy. This is a tortoise that has been born without eyes. This is a tortoise that's born without any eyes. Oh, this is crazy, man. This is horrible. But you know, guys, when oh, he's alive. I hate to see this. Can you see?
I mean,
this is where his beak is,
right.
But he's got no lower jaw, and he's got no eyes at all.
Like there's some sort of hole in his like neck.
Yeah, I do not even think this tortoise has a mouth opening.
Oh.
This is just, oh man, you know, guys, I know a lot of you are going to be sad. I'm not happy about this, but you know, the thing is that when reptiles they lay many, many eggs. Okay, and the reason they lay so many eggs is because it's a survival tactic that nature came up with for them. The reality, and the sad reality is, most of these babies, if they were in the wild, most of these babies, and many of you know this, this is for the people that maybe don't know this, most of these babies would never have made it. That's why in some cases, guys, captivity is actually pretty good. Because more animals will survive. The debate is whether or not they are living good lives, and that's up for each one of us to study and be able to prepare for them the proper homes. I am a believer in captive raised animals, in being able to own animals and be shepherds of those animals. This is very sad to me because obviously, you know, this animal's not going to survive. This animal right here, basically, if it were born in the wild, it would obviously not really make it past the hatching point. In fact, it's debatable whether or not this animal will make it over another day or two, because just the stress of hatching can be.
A lot of people are wondering, then, what are you going to do with it?
Well, guys, I'm going to put the animal back in the egg, in the tray, and let it continue to hatch. I've had other turtles hatch without eyes, and in my experience, when the deformity is so great, I mean, this animal doesn't even appear to have a working mouth. If it had no eyes and a mouth, it could eat. I'm just going to put it back in here and let nature take its course. There's really nothing I can do. And I know there's so many people that have such big hearts and they want to just keep this animal alive. But and this may be controversial for some people, what I'm about to say, but sometimes their deformities are so debilitating and would be too much really for me to handle when I have so many animals that they just, you know, they won't survive. And the kinder thing to do would be to euthanize the animal or use its biomass. I'm using technical terms here, guys. You know, sometimes we have to be real about things, but you know, Slinky does eat eggs. It might be a kinder thing just to, you know, have this animal go into the food chain, which is exactly what this animal would have become in the wild. But it does break the heart when we see something like this happen. But when I think back at look at how many of this clutch are just doing so well. I mean,
really trying to
yeah, this guy really wants out. But this animal here is just never going to be able to have the quality of life that a healthy animal is going to have. And again, guys, I'm talking, and this is a total surprise. I had no idea this was happening here today. I didn't really plan any words. I'm just kind of talking live, right off the cuff to you. But it is my belief that if an animal is too debilitated, that it can't have a good quality of life, that the kinder thing to do would be to humanely euthanize it, or use its biomass to feed another animal. Because even though we are in captivity and I am artificially incubating these eggs, there is a law of the jungle, so to speak, a law of nature. And I try to adhere to that. Now, if the animal were born maybe with 3 legs or something like that, I would probably rehome it or raise it up, and it'd be one of my little buddies here. But this,
It can't eat.
it cannot eat. It has no, I mean, one more time, I don't know if this is doing it any justice.
A little closer.
A little closer?
Yeah, and then rotate it up a little bit.
You guys can see.
Oh, yeah.
It's got absolutely no eyes, and it appears that that mouth won't work. There's nothing I can do. There's just nothing I can do. And I know a lot of you are going to be sad, and you're going to be a little upset at that. And so I'm sorry that you're upset, but this is actually a teachable moment. You know, when you're working with animals, sometimes things are going to be sad. And you have to, you know, I've been doing this since I'm 6 years old. And, you know, if you're a young person that is just kind of getting into animals, I know how devastating it can be when we lose animals or when we see something suffering. And, you know, when working with animals and certainly breeding reptiles, you know, you're going to see these aberrations from time to time.
A lot of people are saying they do understand.
Well, that's cool,
So,
but
no,
you know,
no negative comments.
well, no, I just, you know, I'm trying to be sensitive to everyone out there. You know, to be perfectly honest, guys, you know, you got to get a little bit tougher sometimes when dealing with animals. You know, you got to be kind when you have to be kind, and sometimes the kindness is making sure the animal doesn't suffer. So there you go. But we do have some other beautiful animals here that are doing really well.
I saw a question from Frank Sanchez wondering if you were going to sell any of these babies.
Yeah, these babies are going to be offered for sale. I do have some people that have ordered some already. Today, I've got a few orders in. Again, with sulcatas, I prefer to send them to people that have space, that realize these are going to be big animals. I'm selling the sulcatas for $80 plus shipping. Shipping west of the Mississippi is $70. Next day service, and $60 east of the Mississippi next day service, and $30 in Florida. They will be ready to ship. These guys, I like to hold on to them. Sulcatas are tough little tortoises. They absorb their yolks quick and start eating pretty fast after that. So once the tortoises are, the yolks are absorbed and they're eating is when I sell them. And right now it looks like around June 25th, I'll be able to ship these guys. So that's about a week and a half, I think. So if you do want one, we have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, minus 2. So that's 17 that will be available. Plus, there are going to be more hatching. So I'm going to go ahead and close up the sulcatas.
Okay.
And you know,
people asking about other types of.
Yeah, I do have a few other types that I do have, guys. But once again, with this little guy, we're just going to see how he does. Now, it's my, if you want to have more information on him, I'm going to post a picture of him on Instagram. And I'll let you guys know what happens in a live coming up next week, how the animal fared. But my guess is that this no-eyed, no-mouth turtle will not make it very much longer. And it's such an incredible phenomenon. The animal will develop. It'll hatch. And I think that's because nature knows, hey, at least develop it to where it can hatch, and maybe some other animal will be able to use this biomass. Again, that's what reptiles do. And the hard fact is, guys, crocodiles, turtles, tortoises, many reptiles, the reason they have so many eggs, distraction. If one makes it, good deal. Then the animal replaced itself. If the others go into the food chain, good deal. Crocodiles and alligators and the tortoises, they're actually animals that feed so many other animals. And their reward for successfully having a baby live to an adult size, especially in crocodiles and some giant tortoises, is that they get to be the masters of the food chain. So it's pretty incredible. And I have one more thing I want to say about reptile eggs that I find interesting. When we think about it, this is kind of an interesting thing, guys. And I was talking to my good friend Larry Wood, who actually shared this with me. And I think you might find it interesting because it has to do with the female human reproductive system. And so hanging out with this guy, Larry Wood, he's a marine biologist, studies hawksbill turtles. He's an amazing guy, very intelligent man. And we get in some really cool conversations. So we're talking about, hey man, think about how many eggs a turtle lays over the course of its life. If I'm a sea turtle, I lay about 100 eggs, maybe a few times a season, and so be it. And Larry kind of changed the way I look at that, because since you became reproductive, how many eggs do you think you've shed over the course of your life? If you think about it,
I don't know, thousands.
Thousands of eggs, right? Think about that. So it's really, the only difference is that turtles put their eggs into the ground externally, and mammals and human beings, which are mammals, their eggs are internal. And so can you imagine if you had thousands of children?
No.
No,
Two's
God,
enough.
Two's enough. And it's just interesting. So the reality is, guys, not to beat a dead horse, is that, in nature, most of these animals go back into the food chain. So there is some argument to say that even if an animal is being kept as a pet, it's pretty good. It's keeping the species going. And that's kind of the stance I take. Blah, blah, blah. I've talked a lot. Let's get this guy back in and show you some more animals.
I do just want to let you know that Lady Gecko Foot donated $5 and said, thanks for all the great information. I recently acquired my first Herman's tortoise, and your videos have been invaluable.
Oh, that's really nice of you. Thank you so much for your donation. We do appreciate it. We love doing the videos. We love educating people. I hope my long discussion on eggs wasn't too much of a bore, but I figure if you guys are watching, you're into science, and that was an honest to God, really cool scientific discussion that changed the way I look at how reptiles lay eggs, and again, how mammals have their eggs. So I'm pretty excited about this. This is let's see, we got a little cherry head that just popped out. I'm just blow some of that off. So here's a little cherry head that's just hatched out. He's a little wonky looking, I'm sure when Sophia came out, she had a misshapen, bizarre shape.
She was perfect.
Was she really?
Yes.
She was a perfect little child?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, get out of here.
She's been perfect ever since.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I got to be honest. When I came out, I had 2 lumps on my head because it was a wild ride through the birth canal, let me tell you. So, you'll notice that maybe over here it's a little dented in. And also here, there's the crease where as the embryo develops, it starts to grow and unfold, and that's how they break out of the egg. But there's the yolk sac. So this little guy is going to take probably another week or two to fully straighten out. And I like to keep the humidity up in the incubator, inside the container. Now, here's a really pretty redfoot tortoise, guys. Look at this.
Just before I forget, as you're showing the redfoot, Aiden Bradley wants to know if you have any yellowfoots.
No yellowfoots. I actually no longer work with yellowfoots. I was not able to bring their eggs to a complete term, to a full incubation. I did get some babies, but here I'm focusing, because of the new sanctuary I'm going to be doing with Kyle, I'm really lightening my load of animals here. And basically, I have to keep animals that are doing well, that I can breed to kind of offset some costs and just minimize my time, because I'm going to be dividing it between the new sanctuary that I'm going to basically run for Kyle and then Kamp Kenan. So we got a lot going on. But guys, look at this yellowfoot. It's this excuse me, I said yellowfoot. Look at this redfoot. It's another one of these really light ones, which are beautiful, with the crazy legs, beautiful face. And you can really see now what I was talking about. This one's earlier. And again, this is not hurting the tortoise. The eggshell was basically off of it. What I'm going to do is put it back in the incubator and make sure that there's enough humidity to where it's going to help this little guy unfold and continue to grow. They're very soft, as you may not know, when they're born. And he's just going to absorb the yolk, and he's going to continue to grow. So that's what I got going on, man. Pretty cool.
Very cool. We got another donation from Kamp Kenan Aquatics.
Oh, what's up, Kamp Kenan Aquatics?
Glad to see you activated super chats, Kenan. Love the channel and the content. PS. Wish your merch was available in sizes larger than 2X. Oh,
man, we'll look into that there, buddy. Tom takes care of all that stuff. I do appreciate that. Thank you for your support. We do have Kamp Kenan hats available as well, as do the Kamp Kenan t-shirts, which is the logo tee. And we will get around to designing some new t-shirts. I know we've been talking about a Slinky shirt, But with all that's going on between Kyle and I and setting up the new sanctuary, it's really been taking a lot of my time. And it's about to get even crazier. But I think you guys are going to be happy when you see what we're up to. And right now on Kyle's Instagram, if you go to Crocodile Kyle 6 on Instagram, he's been posting videos of, I have to tell you, there's 2 new facilities being built. Kyle's old house with the greenhouse, that will become our new sanctuary. Very excited about that. So starting in January 2019, Kyle and I are going to go in there and we are going to completely just redesign the look of the place. We're going to leave the greenhouse. We're going to leave some of the outdoor ponds, but we're going to tear out all those temporary wooden fences, and we're going to really design a fun, interactive experience that people will be able to call up, book a tour, and really get a sense of how these animals behave. We want to create something akin to a botanical garden that just happens to have giant man-eating reptiles, which I think will be cool. And then,
Man-eating.
now I'm just kidding. And tortoises. But the other place, if you look on his Instagram, what Kyle's building now is going to be his new private facility. So I'm pretty excited. Kyle's been doing a lot.
Lots
He's
of
been.
fun things.
You haven't seen much of Kyle. We haven't seen much of Kyle because Kyle's running
Busy,
around. He's a busy dude. But we're excited, and I think you guys will love the content that we're going to be having from the new facilities. So if you think of it like this, everybody, where I am sitting, 3 miles to my west is Kyle's new home. 3 miles to my east is Kyle's old home, which will be our new facility. So we've got a triangle. The reptilian triangle, I think, is going to be the new name of the of Jupiter Farms. I think the reptilian triangle. So it'll be cool. Maybe we'll get a T-shirt, the reptilian triangle. You know, more exciting than the Bermuda one.
Very cool.
Any other questions?
Andrea Powell says, Kenan, is it a bad thing to cohab tortoise hatchlings temporarily? I currently have 2 sulcatas and a Herman's tortoise together.
Nah. No worries. Obviously the sulcatas are going to get bigger pretty soon. What I would suggest doing, obviously when that happens, you just pull the sulcatas out. But let's look at the facts here. Right now, they're about the same size. Right now, they eat the same foods and pretty much require the same kind of care. So I wouldn't worry too much. Don't keep them in there for too much longer because the sulcatas are going to pull away as far as size is concerned. So keep firing out questions while I put these
All right.
back.
Well, Charles Harwood donated $5. Said, thank you. Your channel is great. I just started watching and I love learning about animals. So thanks, Charles.
Leo, you're actually talking to a bunch of people. And thank you, Charles. Say thanks, Charles.
Thank you.
All right, now.
This is Leo. He has no idea that he's on.
Yeah, just so you know,
291 viewers are watching. But
Leo is in his own little universe, right, Leo? Which actually makes for an interesting child. I got to be honest.
He is, and it's
There
a
he is.
lot. It's a lot of talk.
I was in my own universe too, and look what happened to me.
Yeah. All right.
Let's
Let's
see.
look.
What else we got? I'm just gonna peek in
Oh,
here.
Reptile Haven's been asking for a while. I'm sorry, I forgot this one. He wants to know if and when Kyle's pool will be done, but it's not done yet. It's kind of in demolition stage still.
It is. And Kyle says he just met with the. Kyle told me last week that he had the engineers. And basically they went and they got the go ahead to start really fixing up the entire thing. So I'm excited about that. So hopefully by August, we'll be able to get back to the swimming widths. And we've got some crazy swimming widths planned. That pool is going to be insane. It was insane to begin with, but I promise you when it's done, we're going to have a lot of fun in it. That's all I can say.
P. Wills Reef wants to know, will the sanctuary be open to the public?
It will be open to the public only for a guided tour. So what's going to happen is we'll figure out a fee structure. It's going to be a nonprofit. So all money we earn goes right back into the facility and the animals. So we're going to come up with a fee structure. And we're also kicking around the idea of creating a Patreon for the sanctuary, and then at different levels for the Patreon, you'll have access to the sanctuary a few times a year. again, through guided tour. It's not really going to be a free-for-all. We're not really set up for that. But you'll either have myself or Kyle or one of the employees of the sanctuary that will tour you around. So that'll be really cool. And it's going to add a whole new dynamic to the Kamp Kenan mission. And Kyle and I, what we want to do. We're going to work with different zoos in a bigger way. We're going to work with different rescue organizations and wildlife conservation organizations and provide a place where certain animals that may be endangered that are being bred in zoos will have a holding facility, a safe spot in naturalistic conditions where these animals will then be able to be raised and then hopefully reintroduce them to the wild. So we have grand plans, and luckily Kyle and I are just crazy enough to make it happen. So thank you. And we're going to need your guys' support straight up. It's going to be nuts. So this thing is going to be donation based. It's a little daunting. I'm a little nervous because I'm going to be one running it. So fingers crossed, hopefully we can take Kamp Kenan and just expand on all the good stuff that we've been doing.
Yeah. Toast Grape says the studio looks way better now, and I just want to shout out to Tom for that.
Yeah,
that was his idea.
Yeah, Tom catty cornered it. He kind of went on the angle. He likes that
He
better.
just worked all those angles. And then Kenan Najazadi says,
hey.
My first name is your last name, but he doesn't realize your first name is Kenan.
Yeah, my first name's Kenan, dude. You may be Turkish or of Middle Eastern descent. So my name is actually Kenan. Some people think it's Camp, but that's just the name everyone gave to my house. They were like, hey, we're going to Kamp Kenan because it seemed like a summer camp. My name's Kenan, and my name comes from, I'm Irish, and my mom got super biblical. Apparently, I'm Noah's grandfather. So it's a Middle Eastern name, and I've heard it from Turkish people. They pronounce it Kenan. And some people say Kenan, but usually Kenan is 2 E's, Keenan.
Right.
But I hear Kenan, which is kind of tough. I like that pronunciation.
Kenan.
Like Kenan. It's like Conan.
It's like
cool.
Conan.
Yeah, I always wanted to name, if we were to have a child, like a son, I always wanted to name it like Canaan, son of Kenan, Lord of the Turtles. It's very like Tolkien-esque.
That would be the full name on the birth certificate.
On the birth certificate, Canaan, son of Kenan, Lord of the Turtles. It's like Lord of the Rings type stuff. You know
I would have no say in that, right?
None at all.
That's what it would be.
None at all.
Let's see. Wait, somebody said, Creator of Dreams keeps asking if you have a real job. But Creator of Dreams doesn't understand this is your job.
Hey, listen, Creator of Dreams, man. Like, listen to your own screen name.
You created your dream.
I created my dream job, dude. Like, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate. So check this out. And we talked a little bit about it on today's. We talked a little bit about it on today's Ask Kamp Kenan that'll be coming up on Saturday. And what happened is I've been lucky, man. I was I loved riding bikes, spent all my time doing that, and really, really myopic in my teenage years, meaning that I was laser focused on that. I loved animals the whole time, but it was bike riding that enabled me to have the freedom to travel, learn more about animals, to not have to work a 9 to 5. I've been very fortunate. Then I got into the television announcing, again, very fortunate. And I just I'll be perfectly honest, the craziest thing that happened to me was in 2010. I had met Tom at the Olympics in Vancouver. And I was announcing what at that point was called the Do Action Sports Tour. And NBC television that I worked for, NBC Sports, went through a regime change. All the bigwigs that I knew basically lost their jobs. And I then lost my job. Talent, as they call it, announcers. It's a very volatile career. So I went from making a good living in 2010 to making nothing, zero, zilch. I was done. I had met Tom and we had started to film things with hopes of putting it on television. But in that 2 years, I was working as a mason with my friend Mark Collette. And I was doing odd jobs just to stay in my house because, it's a lot of money to live here and it's hard work. So it's funny, like I remember being all bummed out. I'm with a jackhammer, dude. And I never forget this, guys. Here's the thing. Like, if you are unhappy with your situation, You and only you are the one that's able to really change it. And I'll never forget it, man. I was on a hammer drill, like a jackhammer, and I'm just cranking away, and I'm thinking, holy crap! Just 5 months ago, I was an Olympic announcer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it actually made me think. I said, you know what, dude? I said, I got back on the phone that lunch break, and I called every television producer I ever met. I talked to every TV producer, fly, be free. And so,
He wants to sit on the thing.
yeah, we'll get him up here later. So anyway, I remember I was cold calling a lot of people. Chill out. I was cold calling a lot of people, and I finally got some voiceover work. So it's a weird thing, you know, guys. Why I'm telling you that story is nothing is easy. And the other great thing about learning how to work with cement, in fact, my buddy Mark built this table. This is my buddy Mark's table, and I learned amazing skills from him, how to carve cement to look like stone. I wound up learning things that I didn't even realize was going to help me as I started the whole YouTube thing, and I started to really expand on what I did with the animals. So I just dove right into the animals because I knew it was the only other thing I loved as much as BMX. And here I am, and I've never been happier. I still do not have the kind of money I used to, but I'm more fulfilled. I pay my bills. I love this. I love what I'm doing. I like communicating with you and educating people. So,
yeah.
Is that all right? That's long-winded.
It's a long wind. But
it's live.
Classic. I mean, classic.
What do we got? All right. Well, you know what? We've been on for a while. And what happens with him is we get to a certain point, and it starts to spiral out of control.
Well, listen, he's 5 people. He's
5.
But he's
That's
only just turned 5.
Go ahead. He wants to sit on this thing. We're going to say goodbye. We're going to put Leo up here. Sit down. Just there you go. He's a little creature himself.
Yes.
You know, he's mesmerized by the fact that he's on this live. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. These are Kate's children. They're not my biological children, but I love them like crazy.
You do.
They are a lot of fun. He does this butt scoot, which is just crazy.
Just one more time. A lot of people are saying, how do they purchase?
Okay, guys, just one more time. If you're interested in one of the tortoises, what you got to do is email me at kampkenan@gmail.com. Put in the header tortoise, and I'll go ahead and get them. I won't be able to ship out today, but I can start shipping out on Monday the 25th is when those guys will be ready. But if you want one, it's best to go ahead and make the purchase. So email me. I'll send you back the price list, and I'll send you back directions on how to do it and how to order, and that's it. And now we're going to say goodbye. This is what you do to Leo. You love him to death. He loves it. Okay, everybody, that's it. We're going to take these crazy kids, and we'll see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe, like everything. Bye,
Bye, everyone.
Bye.